Today I'm going to show you how you could use the map operator in transforming a value from one type to another type. SwiftCombine has operators, which are functions that can help you process values. It can help you with doing mapping tasks, filtering the values, doing mathematical operations, and many other kind of tasks. And to demonstrate how to use the map operator, we have here an application with one text field. You can type a character in the text field, and then the text or the input value will be transformed to another object, which is the form field 1 object. We're able to do this because of the map operator. Before we begin, I'm going to just show you what we have in our view controller. First, this is the form field struct, and it has one property, which is the value. And we're going to use this to wrap the value coming from the text field. And then we also have our text field, which is configured here in the construct text field. So we set some properties, and then we add it as a subview of this view controller, and then we lay it out using auto layout. And we also have another property, which is the cancellables. It's a set of any cancelable. We are going to use this after we create some subscriptions, because subscription, they create another object which is an any cancelable, and then we need to store a reference to that object. Okay, let's start with the demonstration. First, I'm going to use the instance of the text field, and then what I want to do is print out the letters that we, or the characters that we type in our text field. And before we could do that, we need a publisher for that. So I already have a publisher for this text field, and I created it as an extension. So here we have the extension of our text field, which returns a new instance of a publisher. We were able to create a publisher because we have used the notification center, and then we also used the instance of the text field, and then we grabbed the value of that text field. If it's empty or nil, then we return an empty string, and then we call the erase to any publisher to return a publisher for us. So whenever we are going to access the text publisher, we will have access to that publisher instance. So going back to our MapV controller, I'm just going to access the text publisher. And the first thing that I would want to do is subscribe to this publisher using the sync subscriber. And I'm going to use the first option and hit enter. So right now we have a string value that is returned by our publisher. So we're just going to call it value. And in here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the print method and print that value. Okay, so we are getting a warning because we are not using or referencing the return object or any cancelable. If I'm going to run this application without referencing the any cancelable, the subscription will not happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to store that reference to our cancellables set that we have earlier, and then this warning should go away. So as soon as I am able to run this application and then type something in our text field, it should be printing whatever I'm typing. So if I type some letters, numbers, then it is printing. It means that our subscription and publisher is working. So what I want to do next is transform this value to a different value type. So currently we have a string, and then we're printing out a string. And since we're talking about the map operator, I'm going to use it in transforming the incoming string. So I'm going to type map, and I'm going to choose the option where it says transform, hit enter. So right now it's telling me I am going to receive a string, and I also need to return a different type. So we're just going to label this as value, and our return type is the type that we would want to return to the for the subscribers. Since we are using or going to use the form field struct, then I'm going to use that here. And of course, within the body, I need to create our form field. So I'm going to create an instance of our form field, and it expects an integer value. Right now, we are receiving a string value. So what we need to do is convert the string value to an integer. And we can use the int initializer that accepts a string, and we are going to set our string value, and this should return an integer of that string value. But then it will only work with numbers. If we are receiving letters, then this wouldn't be returning or creating an integer for us. That's why it's an optional. So it's possible that this will return a nil value. So what we would want to do is return something which is 0 in this case. So whenever the int is going to return nil, then we can set it with 0. So we're using here the double question mark or the coalescing operator in cases the instance here is nil. Now that we have that, then this instance will be returned and will be consumed by our subscribers. We don't need to type in the return keyword because this already infers that we're supposed to return something. So no need for typing the return keyword. And I'm just going to reuse this sync subscription and then print the object. So I'm going to build this application again and then see what we have. First, I'm going to type numbers and then later some letters. So if I'm typing 1, then it's printing the object for me and also the value 1. And if I'm going to type 5, then you can see 5. And then if I empty the text field, it prints 0. 0 because earlier, like I said, if it's empty or if it's a letter, then it would be able to create an instance, which means it's nil, and then it will be replaced with the value 0. And then if I'm going to type some letters, then it's going to return 0. So what happened is we have an incoming value, which is a string, and then we transform that value into an object, a different object of a different type. And this was made possible by using an operator, which is the map operator.